So here is David Smith, the keynote speaker from the Eureca conference 2017, and I have a little interview with him. So thank you, David, for this interview with you.
You're welcome.
And maybe you can give a brief summary of the lectures and the focus in your lecture that you gave during this conference.
Well, the overall topic has been to do with cultural difference and understanding the effect that culture has on the way that we communicate with each other, the way that we understand ourselves, the way that we understand our faith, and the ways that we interpret one another's behaviors. So I talked about three parts of that at the conference. First, we looked at examples of how we very easily misunderstand other people's intentions and other people's motivations when we don't understand the cultural specifics of their communication style. And we very easily take cultural differences and begin to interpret them in moral terms. So instead of just seeing the other person as having a different set of cultural values, we see them as lazy, or we see them as aggressive, or we see them as not interested. Then we moved on to think about how we fit this into a Christian identity, a Christian set of theological concerns. Because the question arises, if I'm Christian, do I need to approach cultural differences defensively? Do I need to just make sure I protect my Christian identity and make sure that I don't be too much infected by all of these different cultures? And our fears about the way that society is changing can make us react in that way. But I suggested that instead the basic thing that frames the way we should react is the biblical call to love strangers as ourselves, which appears in both the Old Testament and the New Testament. And then in the third session we explored some ways that we can learn about other cultures that are not just learning information, not just learning things about other cultures, but actually trying simulations of interacting with people from another culture, learning about our own behaviors, learning about how other people see us, and even learning how our cultural identity affects the way we interpret Scripture.
Okay, does that mean that we didn't only have to learn about differences in cultures, but also how we relate to them and how we are ourselves?
Yes, if you don't have some self-understanding of your own cultural behaviors and communication preferences, then it will be difficult for you to understand how they will be perceived by other people. And then you can get situations where people are trying to communicate, they both have good intentions, but each interprets the other as not having good intentions because the cultural differences in communication style get in the way. So we need to gain some skills of self-understanding and also of interpreting other people's behaviors if we're going to be able to interact graciously with other people.
Okay, what do you in the end think we should take home from these lectures? What would give you joy when we go home and you say, okay, you take that home, that would be fantastic?
I hope that people will go home thinking that they don't need to be afraid of cultural differences, that the world is a very complex and wonderful place, and we should be learning to rejoice in some of the diversity of the people that we encounter. I hope that people will go home realizing that loving people from a different cultural background is more than just having good feelings towards them in your heart. You also need to learn the skills to enable you to interact well with them. And I really hope that teachers will go home sensitized to some of the cultural differences that might be in their own classroom, where certain students are finding it more difficult to be part of the class or more difficult to learn because of their cultural differences from the majority culture in the school. So I hope that this will actually help some students who are experiencing that.
Thank you very much indeed for this interview, and God bless you in all your ways.
Thank you.
But the childcare, they have to involve the parents and
yeah, they involve the parents. But me as a leader, I am supposed to just tell them this is happening. I suspect this is happening. We have to deal with it, you know.
Trust in teachers.
Yes, yes.
I really enjoyed this conference. I enjoyed the fellowship. I enjoyed meeting familiar people and new people I didn't know before. I enjoyed David Smith's talks. They gave me a lot of new insight, and I particularly enjoyed his new approach to the meeting of Jesus with the woman at the well.
Hello, I'm Juan Antonio Lopez from Spain, and it's been for me a privilege to be here in this Eureca conference. I have learned a lot because I have realized that I have colleagues that have the same feeling as I do in my country, the same worries, the same concerns, and we have developed our thoughts through the conference, but also through the group meetings, where we have been able to really know the real situation in each different school, in each different setting. So for me, it's been a blessing, and I hope to come back next year.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yes, I'm Raquel from Portugal, and this is my second year here in Eureca, and this has been a great time with great people, great sessions, learning ones. I've learned a lot, and the weather is great, and it was such a great experience to start working as a board member of Eureca. So this is really amazing.
Nå har jeg gitt telefonnummeret mitt til så mange at nå må jeg gå og finne telefonen. Ja.